Greeting. We hear you loud and clear, brother. Greetings,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody.
Good morning.
You can hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Wamalali Africa Show. My name is Trevor Garifuna Palacio. I am a Garifuna man, and this show is being broadcast live right now in this moment on to my apologies, Tunateki TV, live on Tunateki TV, and being sponsored by the one and only United States of Africa. The conversation today is about West Papua, the human rights violations, our aim and pursuit for self-determination. We have our special guest, Veronica Koman, Indonesian human rights lawyer, and brother Surya Anta, spokesperson for the Indonesian People's Front for West Papua, and the one and only my phenomenal sister, Leonie. The conversation that we're going to have today has everything to do with the reality of not only West Papuans. This is the reality of indigenous people across the globe. The conversation about West Papuans is very meaningful because if we could attack one issue, learn from it, and grow from it, we can build from it. You are live on Tuna Cheki TV, live on Tuna Cheki TV. Let's start with introductions. Leonie, if you could please introduce yourself.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Leonie Tangahma. I am part of the Papuan community in the Netherlands. And I am also a member of the Free Papua movement. If you'll allow me to extend also the greetings on behalf of the Lieutenant General Jeffrey Bomanak, who is the chairman of the Organisasi Papua Merdeka, on behalf of the leadership of the National Liberation Army of West Papua, the TPNPB, and on behalf of the heroic people of West Papua. Also, I'd like to thank our brothers and sisters from Africa, the Global Pan-Africanism Network, GPAN, the Movement of the United States of Africa for hosting us, our brothers and sisters from the African diaspora, from Garifuna. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk and to share our stories, to inform you on the situation, but also to look at how people and countries in the world have given their support to the people of West Papua. And in this case, I would also like to salute my dear brother and sister from Indonesia who are here to talk about their support for our case. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Leonie. Sister Veronica, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Veronica Koman. I'm Indonesian human rights lawyer that my work's focusing on West Papua, and for that I've been forced to live in exile. The Indonesian police want me on politicized charges during the 2019 West Papua Uprising. This is just to show you how Indonesia really doesn't want anyone to speak about West Papua, that even Indonesian people who stand up for West Papua are being attacked too. This is just to illustrate that. And thank you so much to invite me today. This is to show that that there are from the colonizers people that we can also be in solidarity to together abolish the colonialism. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Veronica. We're really, really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Brother Surya, please introduce yourself. We want to apologize for the technical issue there, guys. Brother Surya, we cannot hear you. Please introduce yourself. Once again, guys, we are live on Tunateki TV. You can check us out on YouTube. You could check us out on Facebook. We have over 800,000 followers. 800,000 followers. Tunateki TV. Surya, please introduce yourself, brother. All right, brother. We cannot hear you. We have to keep moving forward. Do me a favor, clock yourself out, and then come back in. Let's keep it until we get it right. Okay? Once again, everyone, you're live on Tuna Techie TV. My name is Trevor Garifuna Palacio. This is Wamalali Africa Show. The word Wamalali means are in the Garifuna tongue. The word Tuna Techie in the Swahili tongue means we are watching. And we want the Indonesian government to know, we want every oppressive government to know that we are Tuna Techie. We are watching. Okay? And we are also expressing ourselves and voicing ourselves through Wamalali, our voice. We, the people, have a voice. And you're about to find out how powerful the people really are. Sister Leonie, this conversation is about West Papua. Can you take us back to May 1, 1963, that has caused over 500,000 deaths of men, women, children, fathers, mothers, to date, 2021?
Thank you for explaining to us the meaning of those words, the voice, the voice. The West Papuan people started to have a voice in '61 already, when they were planning on becoming an independent country. At the time, we were colonized by the Dutch. But then our issue, our decolonization, was basically frozen because West Papua became an international issue. We need to understand that West Papua became a matter of strategic importance during the Cold War. And the United States of America, through its CIA, wanted to play a role in making sure that West Papua became illegally annexed to Indonesia. So in 1961, we were starting to become a people. We were starting to, we offered a flag, a national anthem, a name for the country that was going to become independent. And this all became official on the 1st of December, 1961. A couple of days later, the then president of Indonesia, furious as he saw that he was not going to get West Papua into his own country, started to announce that he was going to invade West Papua. And so he was inviting the people of Indonesia to invade this country that was supposedly going to become independent.
Right.
And then the Dutch also tried just a little bit to hang on to the colony, but the United States were way too strong.
Right.
And so they made sure, through an agreement that the Dutch signed with the Indonesian, that West Papua would go through a process where they would slowly become part of Indonesia. And that was the New York Agreement of 1962. Right. In that New York Agreement, we were first going to be under the authority of the United Nations. And then after a couple of months, already the Indonesians would take over. It was unclear why they would take over, right. But this happened on the 1st of May, 1963.
Right.
And from then on, and that's also the reason why we call it Annexation Day, right. From then on, Indonesia has been there in West Papua. Their presence has been felt. In 1969, there was supposedly going to be a referendum where we were going to choose if whether or not we wanted to become part of Indonesia or right. an independent country. It was a big fraud. At the time, there were around 800,000 West Papuans, and only 1,025 Papuans, put under pressure, actually voted, and they all voted for integration in Indonesia. And the United Nations sort of took note of that vote, and ever since then, illegally, in a very illegal manner, West Papua was integrated into Indonesia. So that was the 1st of May 1963. When the Indonesians came, they started torturing, intimidating people, mm-hmm. And that was basically the sign, or the what was to be for what was going to become of West Papua in the next decades until today. Right. The people are not considered. They're basically considered as second ranking citizens. They're not well, they're not considered as humans, basically, or subhumans.
Yeah. In their own country.
In their own country.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Thank you for that breakdown, Sister Leonie. A lot has happened since 1963. It's been 58 years. Veronica, before we talk about your reality, an individual who has been persecuted, okay, because she believes in doing what's right, and she is Indonesian. My sister, the first thing I want to do is thank you as a Black man, okay, as a one who understands that when we stand up for what is right, and historically, history has shown us that you will be persecuted if you stand up for what is right. Veronica, you tell your mother and you tell your father that Trevor Garifuna says thank you for raising a warrior daughter, for raising an individual who is going against the grain, knowing that life is on the line, knowing that her freedom is on the line. Sister Veronica, what can you add to what Leonie has said? And then I want to talk about your reality.
Yeah, so it began with I actually used to be very nationalistic person, like ultra nationalist person that if you get the tattoo and then in later in your life you regret it. I actually have a Indonesia tattoo here. Sorry, can you see it?
No, we can't. No, we can't. Let's see it. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it's ambigram Indonesia. So the philosophy was that Indonesia is running through my vein. That's how ultra nationalistic I was.
Right.
So it began with I was already a legal aid lawyer in Jakarta, but then in December 2014 there was a killings of 4 Papuan school children, and at that time I was mystified. I was like, why there's no outrage? 4 children were just killed and injuring a dozen others. So after that, because I was already an activist then, but then like why there's no question. So I started to learn more about West Papua then. Someone told me try Google West Papua, not Papua. But so these academic journals from Yale University, Sydney Uni, and all kind of journals then opened my eyes. So now that's why I understand my fellow Indonesians' way of
Right.
thinking of Papua, because I used to be one of them. I did not know what's
Yeah.
happening. It's
Okay.
because of systematic propaganda and also restriction on information that Indonesians do not know, but that is changing.
Okay.
The movement from Indonesian people, Surya can talk. Hopefully, he can join us properly today, so he can explain how the movement is growing and increasing on social media. Indonesians are now discussing Indonesia's colonizing West Papua. So the idea is growing. This is a start, and I think it is hopeful.
Right. Without a doubt, it's definitely hopeful, because the thing about it is change can happen, but the first step must be taken. I repeat,
Yep.
and we're speaking to those who are listening. Change will happen, but the first steps must be taken. And what the United States of Africa, with our president, and I salute him, Daniel and Wambuno, is doing, and what Tunateki TV is doing, is making sure that the reality of what's really going on, because Veronica, you hit it on the head, because I'm sure that Indonesian general public is kept out of the reality. And I'm sure that the information that they are fed actually contradicts the reality. That's why Tuna Cheki TV is watching, right? That's why we're here. And no one is telling us what we can and cannot say. And just like one of our guests, and I'm going to read the first comment right now, says, and I'm gonna address Sahat real quick, but I want to start with Henki Van Kuban. He says, let the truth be told. This is the space where the truth is going to be told. And Sahat Rambe, get out of this space if you're going to disrespect Sister Veronica. Okay? Sahat.
I think Surya is waiting to come in.
There he is. I just brought him in. Sahat, you're not going to expect any of the guests on my show. If you're going to be someone listening and participating in what we're doing, this is about positive energy. Get the hell on somewhere, bro, with all of that. Surya, please say something to make sure that we're straight. It's okay. We're still struggling. We're still struggling. We want to thank our guests for sticking with us. You're live on Tuna Cheki TV. Go ahead, brother. Cannot hear you, brother. All right, brother. We cannot hear you. We have to keep on going. Stick and stay with us. Every now and then try to make a sound or something, so that as soon as we could hear you, we're going to allow you to speak. So again, this right here is a place where we're going to speak the truth. And this is about West Papua. The conversation today is about self-determination. I want to come to you real quickly, Veronica. Can you, and by the way, as you guys see right there, Veronica is an Indonesian human rights lawyer. Veronica, I want to ask you one question. How do I know I can trust you?
That is a really good question. I think from so I have the experience of West Papuans. They are being let down, and West Papuans basically don't trust Indonesians. The distrust is so big. I remember that at the beginning of me deciding to focus my work on West Papua, I also didn't get that trust. West Papuans also, maybe they were thinking like who are you? Some activists from Jakarta again? Why would you be different from the rest of that? Yeah. And then I think from the consistency, I think that finally I gained trust from West Papuans. They send me information, and I think because of the racism that Indonesians always think that they are smarter than this backward Stone Age West Papuans, than these primitive West Papuans. So I have the privilege of being Indonesian, not West Papuan. That when I speak about, so I raise the idea of that actually Indonesia is colonizing West Papua, and then I began to attract attention from fellow Indonesians because I have the privilege of not West Papuan,
Right.
and then the conversation began. And I think West Papuans also noticed that. At least maybe some of them noticed that. And yeah, I think from consistency, but I don't claim that I am the truth bearer. At the end of the day, all we should listen to is the West Papuan people. I'm sure that as black people know that, but this is my message to the non-black people.
Right. I like that, and I want to appreciate you being bold enough to answer that question. I mentioned to you earlier that I have some hard questions. That's the first one. I have even harder questions. Okay, they're going to be coming your way. But thank you very much. And I also want to let you know I know a tattoo artist who could. You see that Indonesia that you have right there? He could turn it into free West Papua.
Yes, I'll
All
do that.
right. So
But actually, I don't totally regret this, because this is a daily reminder of who I was. This is where I came from, and that's why it's been my personal mission to open my fellow Indonesian eyes about what's happening in West Papua. This is a reminder.
I like that. I really do like that because I've always said to the people, and we're not thinking that Indonesians are going to free. Okay, we don't think that Veronica is here to free us, but we do appreciate your participation. We appreciate you being involved because the only one that Papuans is us through self-determination. So, as an attorney, a human rights lawyer, we know that the letter of the law means everything. In 2001, the West Papuan community were given something called autonomy. 2021, our people are still being killed in West Papua. In brief, on the word autonomy from an attorney's perspective, and give us a brief on the word self-determination, because that's what we're about to go into, the conversation about self-determination. And the 60, 70, 80 people that are watching right now, we need you to be a part of this campaign with President Daniel Mbambuno, President of the United States of Africa, to make sure that this mission of freeing West Papua, Papua Merdeka, comes to pass. Please, the difference between those two, autonomy and self-determination.
Yep, thank you. So, due to our limited time, I'll just go to the West Papua context.
Mm-hmm.
So, the special autonomy in West Papua was not in 2001, was not even given. It's forcefully fed into West Papuan people, because 2 weeks prior to the so-called special autonomy was enforced, the West Papuan leader at that time, Tais Ly, was assassinated by
Yep.
Indonesian force. And while Tais Ly, the late Tais Ly, said at that time that West Papuan people do not wish special autonomy. West Papuan people want to be free, independent. That's why he was assassinated. So, from the foundation, from the very foundation of the special autonomy, it's a sham already. So that's I think that's why, because the foundation is flawed. There's no such thing. There won't be self-determination under the sham special autonomy. That's just the logic. And then let's talk about the implementation in brief. That I think the so-called special autonomy in West Papua is the ultimate whitewash tool to whitewash colonialism in West Papua by Indonesia, because in international forum, Indonesian diplomats always say that West Papuan people already have self-determination. They're enjoying their special autonomy. The leaders, the governors, the regents are all West Papua, indigenous West Papuans. So what are you expecting more? But in truth, that all major decisions have to come back to Jakarta. So West Papuans, they don't have special autonomy at all. So here this make it make sense. So according to UNDP, the lowest human development index in the world is in Nigeria, but in one you are muted.
What does UNDP mean? Whenever you give us an acronym, if you could give us the meaning of it.
Oh,
Thank
sorry. Yeah, the United Nations Development something. According to UN,
Right.
the lowest human rights development index is in Nigeria, but in one region in West Papua called Nduga, which has been under military operation since late 2018, the human development index in Nduga is lower than Nigeria, so lower than the lowest in the world. How can such thing can be, a special autonomy? And this is my last point, the biggest irony of of describing West Papua of having special autonomy is that there are military operations. How can a territory you are being describe it as having autonomy while there's this aggression from outside the military
Right.
operation? So that's it. That's just
Right.
the biggest irony.
So determination is from a legal perspective, and what would it look like if Papuans had self-determination? Explain what self-determination is from the legal perspective, and what would it look like if we had it?
Yeah. So according to international law, there are two types of self-determination: external and internal. External is the political status that we are talking like majorly what Free Papua movement is. They want to be independent political status, and the second one, the internal self-determination, is about how a group of people, a people can determine how they want to develop their own land, their how to develop their and maintain their culture. So like more internal stuff. And in the case of West Papua, both internal and external are being violated. West Papua, under the colonization of Indonesia, they are being made to embarrass of their own culture. That everything has to be in Java, the standard of Java, the island of where Jakarta is. That Indonesian also said that if you want to be smart like us, you have to eat rice. While it's not the primary food of I mean the traditional food of West Papua. So all kind of this is going to be very long, I think. Is that
No worries at all. No, Veronica, thank you so much for breaking down the difference between autonomy. And M. Johnson says special autonomy has been given by China to Tibet and by Indonesia to West Papua. It is an attempt to evade, excuse me, there I'm getting a message. It is an attempt to evade the people's lawful demand for independence and self-determination of their own affairs. And Andrew Johnson, that's absolutely why we're having this conversation. Surya, say something. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Great.
finally? Yes.
Welcome, brother. Please introduce yourself. And Veronica had something that she thought you could elaborate a little bit more on. Veronica introduces himself. If you recall, it was tap on it so that he could elaborate on it so we could move forward. Surya, please introduce yourself, brother. Welcome to Tunacheki TV.
Hello, Tunacheki TV. I'm Surya Anta. Hello, comrades from Africa. I'm Surya Anta. I'm spokesperson of the Indonesian People Front for West Papua, and also former of the political prisoner for the West Papua issue. I'm Indonesian. I took a part the solidarity for West Papua from Indonesian people because we realize we have many mistakes to the West Papuan people since 60 years ago, almost 60 years ago, and then we realize that we are also victim of the racism. We are also victim of the colonialism. But then after we get independence, we doing something wrong to Indonesian, to the West Papuan people since 58 years ago until now. So greetings from me.
Greetings, brother Surya. And brother Surya, also thank you the same way I thank sister Veronica, because you are an Indonesian. And please thank your mother, thank your father for being instrumental in you being you. You being you. You know, like we said, right now, Sister Veronica has been persecuted. She's practically in exile. You know, that's her reality, because she is standing up for what is right. And we dare more Indonesians to do what is right. Because if Indonesians do what is right, that could make all of the difference in the world for my brothers and sisters in West Papua. Period. So, Brother Surya, thank you for being bold enough, knowing that you could become a prisoner, knowing you could get kidnapped, knowing they could kill. The list goes on of the things that they can do to you to make your life miserable, to make our lives miserable. But we all know that someone has to pay the price. Someone has to step up and do what is right. So Veronica and Surya, man, hats off to you. You guys are a blessing in our lives. Veronica, there was something that you said that Surya could, highlight a little bit more. Do you recall what that was?
Yes, so we were talking about how so Surya can explain this, yeah. So the solidarity from Indonesian people is growing, and Surya should explain maybe from the start of declaration of FRI-WP and forwards that it's growing.
Brother Surya, thank you, Sister Veronica.
Okay, Indonesia People Front for West Papua, built by some organizations, from student organizations, political party organizations, and also individuals, also from the uh, cultural movement organization, also from labor organizations. We realize that the issue of West Papua is not only about the issue about demilitarizations, or the issue about climate change, or issue about racism, but we realized since 5 years ago that that the West Papuan people is a nation.
Right.
So by that conclusions, we have took a part to support their demand for the right for self-determination. So we are not looking that the West Papuan people to fight with us for the better of Indonesia, but we realize that the West Papuan people should have their own track, their own path to become their own nations, to build their own better life, better world, better conditions, without oppression and colonization from Indonesian government and military. And since we declare in 25 November 2016, 2016, we made march in almost 20 cities around of Indonesia, mostly from the student organization. We are campaigning everything we could for the West Papuan situations. We're campaigning about demilitarization. We're campaigning about we're campaigning about democratic space in West Papua, and also we campaign about the truth history of the West Papuan from the West Papuan people perspective, because in Indonesian perspective, the West Papuan is also already become part of Indonesia before 1963. Most of them thinking about that. We trying to make sure that the reality, the truth history of the West Papuan people come to the Indonesian head, to the consciousness. So why? Because many mistake about the perspective on West Papua is already become habits to Indonesian people, and we think that this is will become a worse to the Indonesian people perspective, and also this is the uh, distraction to the path of the vision, the mission of the anti-racism, anti-colonialism of Indonesian when Indonesia will get independence in 1945.
Okay.
So Some of our members from Indonesian People Front get beaten for this peaceful campaign, and also some of them intimidated by the police and the military,
Mm-hmm.
and also threatened by militia,
Right.
civil militia, and the last time I was arrested and imprisoned for almost 1 year.
Wow, that's amazing. Like I said, you could lose your freedom, you could lose your life, you could lose your job, you could get exiled, and the list goes on of what can potentially happen to you. And Surya, real question, man, real quickly. You look like a brother, man. You look like a black bro. What's up?
What can you repeat?
I say you look like a brother.
Brother, you mean?
Yeah, you look like a black man. What's up with that?
Oh, yeah. The funny thing, yeah, my hair is curly.
Yeah.
My hair
Okay.
is curly,
Yeah.
and when I was child, I'm not proud to become a curly hair person.
Right.
When I'm took a part in Solidarity for West Papua, I'm very proud to become a curly hair person,
Right.
because the West Papuan people, they have their own dignity
Right.
with their own body and their own hair.
Right.
When I was child, they told, "Oh, your hair like sheep,
Yeah.
seperti domba, like sheep,
Yeah.
like goat, seperti kambing." So
Can
when
I can,
I'm make an interaction with the West Papuan people, I become more proud with my hair.
Right.
okay. Can I react?
Go
Can I
ahead,
react,
sister.
Brother
Go
Trevor?
ahead. Go ahead, Sister Leona.
I have the pleasure of already meeting Sister Veronica once, but I've never actually met physically our brother Surya. So it's a real pleasure and really to meet you, because on the 1st of December 2016, there was this item that I read about this young Indonesian man who said, "I apologize publicly to the people of West Papua because my country, Indonesia, is colonizing them." And that really felt, it really struck my heart.
Right.
Surya was apologizing because Indonesia was constantly arresting Papuans,
Yeah.
torturing them, killing them. And Surya was accusing his own country of deviating, as he just said, from their own constitution, the constitution of 1945.
Right.
And that constitution says, and it's the very first word of that constitution, and this is what it says. It said, whereas independence is the inalienable right of all nations, therefore all colonialism must be abolished in this world, as it is not in conformity with humanity and justice.
Right.
And so the real Indonesians are actually the ones who want West Papua to be free. So it's beautiful. And so I'm really proud, and I'm really happy to meet you finally, Brother Surya, online. Maybe one day I will meet you
Happy to
for
meet you
real.
too, Kakak Leoni.
And yeah.
This is beautiful, guys. This is beautiful.
It's you know, a lot of West Papuans, a lot of us are Christians, and so a lot of us like to quote from the Bible. And in this case, the main image that appears in our mind is this man when he was going to get crucified. As they were going out, the Roman soldiers, and they met a man from Cyrene, and his name was Simon, and they forced him to carry the cross.
Right.
And so Surya and also Veronica, you guys are carrying the cross. You guys are getting beaten up like us. You guys are getting arrested like us. You guys are getting tortured like us. So you're carrying the cross, and thank you for making the weight lighter. Thank you.
No, Leone.
Terima kasih.
Tumakasi. Leone, I couldn't have said it any better than that. Veronica, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess like the similar sentiment. I actually also felt it. So the for the I think the two my two first speech on in at international forums. I also cried about West Papua. I remember that the first one is at the launch of International Academics for West Papua in Sydney, and when I was asked to deliver a presentation, and at that bit I also cried because of the guilt and shame and just the humanity about like as because I am from the oppressor side, and it's just yeah, so that kind of and during so from the FRI-WP this network that Surya is the spokesperson is that on almost every protest that they are doing about West Papua, the Indonesian protesters would kneel in front of the West
Yeah.
Papuans and apologize. And when before I was in exile, when I attended of the those protests, I always used to got theory, and I think it was real. It was real. It's not just about us doing democratic, to
Right.
uphold the democratic rights of West Papuan people, but it's deeper than that. It's something in the heart that I think as Indonesian people, we have the we owe West Papuan people, and maybe Surya can elaborate further.
Thank you. Surya, before you elaborate a little bit further, um, Leone hit something that is actually a segue into the next question that I have. And this is going to be a little hard, Veronica and Brother Surya. You know, she spoke about Simon. She spoke about being Christians and Papuans being Christians. I want to now speak about the fact that Indonesia is a Muslim state. Leone said Veronica is carrying her cross like a Christian would. Leone said Surya is carrying his cross like a Christian would. I myself, I'm a disciple of Jesus. I'm a disciple of Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I'm a disciple of Genghis Khan. Okay? As long as there is a warrior spirit, I'm a disciple. I'm going to speak to you, Surya, first, and then you, Sister Veronica. Please let us know if you are a Muslim or not a Muslim, right? Because I want to speak to them right now. Because our Papuan brothers and sisters are pursuing something called self-determination. Veronica, you said it out of my mouth, and you were 1,000% correct. The special autonomy law was a farce. The special autonomy law has nothing for Papuan brothers and sisters, but self-determination can. Since Indonesia is a Muslim state, Surya, what could you say to, because, and the reason I want to hit this conversation because people are, oh my goodness, we're the ones that make that could really make a difference. People of faith, not blind faith, but people of faith. We could really make a difference. So Surya, are you Muslim? And if you are Muslim or not Muslim, what message would you have to the majority Muslim society of Indonesia who are supposed to be practicing Islam? And the 5 pillars of Islam are beautiful. Not one of those pillars says anything about oppression. Not one of those pillars says anything about land grabbing. Surya, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first, I'm not Muslim.
Okay.
By the ID card, I'm Catholic.
Okay.
And second, Indonesia is not the Muslim state, but
Okay.
majority people of Indonesia is Muslims.
Okay.
The largest Muslim people in the world is Indonesia. The third thing that yes, I think the relation about the Islam and the West Papuan people liberation, it's that the Prophet Muhammad is fight against Prophet of Muhammad is a fight for equality.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in some way, also Prophet Muhammad fight for the anti-discriminations. As for the Muslim people, you know that the first person who say azan is a slavery person, and he is, I think he is also black. But I forget his name.
Okay.
Uh, so
So you're
but
not Christian. What message? But just like Timothy Daniel says, and I want to really hit this, and let's not dance around the bushes, okay? Because lives are being taken in West Papua, right? And people who are supposed to be practicing a peaceful religion like Islam, you just broke it down. Peace be upon Prophet Muhammad. You just broke down that he was about justice. What attracts me to Islam is one word, is Tawheed. Tawheed means unity. Tawheed means unity. So Islam is really about that. So let's not dance around it. If you have a message, if you had a message to the Muslim majority, Timothy Daniel says that's right on point. Muslims are the overwhelming majority in Indonesia. Are they standing up with Papuans for self-determination? Are they in the front with Surya Anta?
yeah, I think for the essence of the Islam vision, justice, equality, peace, and dignity, I think the Indonesian Muslim people should took a part with us to give solidarity for the West Papuan people, not only for the Muslim West Papuan people who live in West Papua.
Right.
I think there is thousands of them who also have religion of Islam in West Papua, but also because this is the faith, this is the mission of the Islam, that that Muslims should took a part for the peaceful, for the peace and better life of the world. So when we see the operations in West Papua, not only the operations of the the Muslim of West Papua, but most of the West Papuan people,
Right.
the mission of the Islam, the mission of the Muslim is to took a part to make a peace and take the West Papuan people to take their own justice and their own truth history.
Right.
So the West Papuan people can live life for the better situation and better life.
Thank you, Brother Surya. And I want to make it clear, we're not beating up Muslims. We're not anti-Islam or anything like that. I myself am a Muslim. Okay. And I'm asking a hard question because if you know Islam like I know Islam, we need to be standing up for justice. We need to be fighting the oppressors. Okay. This is not a beat up Islam moment. Okay. We believe in Islam. We expect more from Muslims. So, Veronica, the same question to you, sister. Are you a Muslim? And if you had a message to the Muslim majority, right? And I want to take advantage again of what Leone said. Leone said Veronica is carrying her cross. Surya is carrying his cross. And Jesus said, Veronica, Surya, they persecuted me. You best to believe they will persecute you. So, Veronica, are you a Muslim? And if you had a message to the Muslim majority, what would that message be?
Yeah, I'm not religious. I'm not a
Okay.
religious person. So, but funny that you asked that, because just yesterday, because I attended the pro-Palestine rally, free Palestine rally, and then there was so many statements from Indonesian people on my social media, like, oh wow, you support Palestine. It's like suddenly they become like confused. And then I used that opportunity to ask them back, to question them back, like, you can see the occupation and colonization in Palestine, but you can't see what's right in front of you. That's the colonization in West Papua. So my message to my Muslim Indonesian fellows is, if you can see, if you can see one people's sufferings just because they have the same religion as you, you should be able to see the sufferings of people
Mhm.
who have different religion to you. It's not it a big just because of the different religion doesn't mean that the sufferings are different.
Right.
Especially because Indonesians are colonizing West Papuans directly. You can be in solidarity with Palestine, which was very far away, and
Mhm.
your solidarity matters. But I mean, you can do more if you are in solidarity with what's right inside your country. That's West Papua. So, yeah, that's my message.
No, thank you, Veronica. Your message is nothing but sweetness. Leonie, I want to give you the space to add any thought that is bubbling in your mind right now based on what Surya and Veronica have said.
It's actually one of the things that we focus on is the fact that Indonesia is the biggest nation of practicing Muslim people, but there's also the fact that West Papuans are Christians, and one of the things that we do call upon is also the churches to do, the Catholic Church perhaps
Yeah.
as it stands, to do a bit more than what they're doing, to recognize not just the fact that we're being tortured, marginalized, killed, but the fact that we want our right to self-determination to be respected. There needs to be a stance from the churches, and in particular, in this case, the Catholic Church, because at this stage you also have Protestant churches who are supporting, but to do the extra step and to say this is about the right to self-determination. This is not just a matter of some people being mistreated
Right.
incidentally on that occasion. No, it's something that happens practically every day, and
Right.
it's something that has a reason, a historical reason, and also economic reason, social reason, the reason, political reason why
Right.
this is all happening since the 60s up until today.
Right.
So it's not just our Muslim brothers and sisters, and literally, because in my family, as I said before, I have Muslim brothers and sisters, and also Protestant. My region is quite specific because we have all three religions in there, and before the Indonesians came, we lived peacefully
Right.
for hundreds of years with those three religions. And so religion is not actually the problem. It's people who make it a problem
Right.
that are responsible for explosions, or they use religion in such a way that it's not right. But
Right.
yeah, everybody who believes in justice, who believe everybody who believes in fairness, everybody who believes in the human dignity.
Right.
So it's not only Muslim but also Christians, Catholics.
Right.
Everybody do something about it.
Without a
Yeah.
doubt, everybody have to play their part. And the reason we speaking to the Muslim society is because again, Indonesia is the majority Muslim state.
Yeah.
And it's very uncanny to me, Surya, that it's a majority Muslim state, but it's not a Sharia law state. kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? Because any space you give to Sharia law, they gonna take it. And if it's a majority and it's still not a Sharia law, I really don't get that. But this is not going to be the space for that conversation. I only bring it up. And I also want to say that Limpo says, Trevor, there are 2 teacher Muslims being raped in Nduga region, Papua, raped by OPM militants. So being raped right now. And let's be careful when we use the word women loosely, because that woman might be 9 years old. The woman might be 12 years old. That's not a woman, but they will call her a woman and put her in that list. So the reason we're speaking directly to the majority is because self-determination won't just happen, Veronica. It just won't happen. There has to be vocal individuals, people who will actually put their lives on the line, like our president Daniel Mwambuno, who spoke truth to power today in one of his segments. He says, everyone, welcome to the United States of Africa. Irrespective of what your religion is, leave it in your home.
Oh, seem to have lost Trevor.
Oh, we lost our host.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys, they cut me off for a minute, but it's okay. I'm right back in full effect. And President Daniel Mwambuno said, and welcome to Tuna Cheki TV. You can't stop us. You can't stop us. Tuna Cheki means we are watching. Wamalali means our voice. You can't stop us. We're going to come right back. Surya, it took him an hour to log in, but he's here. You can't stop us. We're speaking truth to power. So President Daniel Mwambuno says, leave your religion at your homestead. Welcome to the United States of Africa, where our focus is empowerment of our nation. Because religion is nothing but a divisive thing. It's divisive. But at the same time, you are people of faith. And although you're not Muslim, Surya, neither are you, Veronica, or Veronica, you said you don't go into the religious thing. I'm with you on that. But I'm here to tell you that your spirit is filled with justice. Okay? You are more Muslim than Muslims. You are more Christian than Christians. Surya, Leone, that religious thing don't mean much. It's the action that we put behind it. Once again, you're live on Tuna Cheki TV. Live on Tuna Cheki TV. The conversation today is self-determination. We're about to close this conversation out. Leone, we're going to give you the final word before I close it out. Surya, since we didn't hear much from you, we want you to close us out with a message to the listeners of Tuna Cheki TV on Wamalali Africa Show.
So thank you for giving me a few moments to thank again Surya and Veronica for being here and explaining how they are helping us. This is truly a privilege to be able to meet with you guys, albeit online. Thank you for carrying the cross with us. We truly believe that we will get through this, that West Papua will be free. This media is special to us because it's from Africa. It's from Africans in the diaspora. We consider ourselves as well as Africans in the diaspora. And a long time ago, somebody said, in terms of Asia and the Pacific, he said that Africa is our motherland. All of the Black populations which settled in Asia, including Indonesia, over the hundreds of thousands of years came undoubtedly from the African continent.
Right.
And in fact, the entire world was populated from Africa. Hence, we, the Blacks in Asia and the Pacific today, descend from Proto-African peoples. We were linked to Africa in the past. We are linked to Africa in the future.
Right.
And we are what you might call the Black Asian in diaspora. So that was something that has always made sure that we know we are connected. And because we are connected, we need to go through this together. And we thank you for understanding and for carrying the cross with us.
I love you, Leonie. Of encouragement, words that speak to reality, and I'm gonna keep going back to the word reality. And this space is about reality. Brother Surya, your closing comment.
So for us, from the Indonesian people for West Papua and the Indonesian people who give solidarity for West Papua, I think we ask for the international solidarity for West Papua, and also from the African community, from the African movement, that we should take one to others to give solidarity to West Papua, to campaigning all the problem to West Papuan people. It's not issue about, yes, this is a problem of the racism also. This is a problem of capitalism also, but militarism also. But the fundamental problem is penjajahan or colonialization.
Right.
When we talk solidarity about West Papua without talking about colonializations, we don't talk about what the roots problem of the West Papua.
Right.
And when we see in this world there is a nation still under colonizations, I think we are in the stuck path, in the stuck track to become a better human, better life, better worlds. That we also, all the religions also, all the movement also imagine that we can live in a better life, in the better. But when we never speak, when we never shout, when we never yell about anti-colonialization, anti-racism, and we never practice it in our political life, everyday political life, and then we don't want to see there is no operations around us, and then we becoming habit, and then we are adapting that value of operations. What we are trying to do when we give solidarity to West Papua, we're trying to see a lot of operations that happen not only to the Indonesian people, but also to the West Papuan people. We try to recognize what is our mistake, what is our mistake in our history. Then that we find the conclusion that our first maybe one of our first mistaken is by colonialization of the West Papuan people. Then we also make more and more mistake to the West Papuan people, and then it became habits to our community, to our people, and then our people of Indonesia became racist, even though they are the victim of racism from the Dutch colonization before 1945. So we should emerging our value, our visions, to see a lot of operations to improving ourselves as an activist and as people, as also to see more wide about what happened, so that we can sharpening our vision, our heart to the operation people. So then we can give more solidarity, and we can achieve more better condition for the
Thank you,
West
brother.
Papua.
Thank you, brother Surya. Thank you, brother, for calling it what it is. This is imperialism in 2021. This is colonialism in 2021. Concept of conquistadors or colonialism is not ancient. It's alive and well in West Papua. Sister Veronica, your closing comment.
Thank you. I have a message to Black community who are
Mhm.
watching this. So the root of colonialism in West Papua is racism.
Mm.
It, at that time the referendum was cheated because at that time Indonesian people thought that West Papuan people were too backwards to participate in democratic referendum
Right.
thing. And the racism is still suffered by West Papuan to this day.
Yeah.
During the trigger of the 2019 uprising was because West Papuan people were called monkeys by Indonesian soldiers.
Yeah.
And just last month, now West Papuans were branded as terrorists by
Mhm.
Indonesian government.
Yeah.
So and then it combines with the information restriction by Indonesia that practically international journalists and organizations cannot are banned from entering West Papua. So West Papuan rely on the voice of Black people. First and foremost, of course, the West Papuan voice themselves. But the second one, I think it will come from the voice of Black people. If not Black people, then who will be
Yeah.
voicing about the struggle of West Papuan people? So that's my message. Please be more, please be louder
Right.
and do this more often.
Right.
And I think that finally the revolution for West Papua will come from Black community. Thank you.
Sir, we salute you, brother Surya. We salute you, sister Leonie. We salute you, our 100+ guests. We salute you for tuning in live to Tuna Cheki TV, Tuna Cheki TV live. Every week we're gonna come in and have a conversation about something that is relevant to you, people that look like you and I. Don't forget, not every Indonesian is the enemy. Don't forget, not every Indonesian is the enemy. Have allies. We have Veronica. We have allies. We have Surya. We have many others like them. And so I want to bring you back and have a conversation with you specifically about law and what it pertains to indigenous people. Why the attack on indigenous people? And in short, we know that the attack on indigenous people is all about land. They want the land. They want the land. It's as simple as that. But we want you to know, Tunateki, we're watching. We want you to know you're going to hear our voice, Wamalali. And we also want every one of the guests to know they need to stay woke.